What's up, everybody? It's your girl Megan, show fitness instructor, and today I'm going to be going over how I design a program for an advanced client, a 65-year-old female. But before I do that, for those of you who are tuning in for your first time and you haven't heard about us, Show Up Fitness, where great personal trainers are made. I'm going to be our in-person instructor in La Jolla, California. We also have in-person locations at Santa Monica, as well as our online internship that occurs year-round. Right now, we have a 14-day free trial, so you guys can go ahead and get a look at what we have to offer. And of course, if you guys cannot commit to the in-person, we do have weekend seminars occurring every month or so. Next one's going to be May 18th up in Sacramento. Now let's get to the fun stuff. When it comes to designing a program for a 65-year-old female client or just elderly population in general, there are definitely things that we want to take into consideration when we're looking at age, what we're prone to when it comes to injury, the risk levels, what happens as we age. And so there's terms that you guys should know if you are a personal trainer. Sarcopenia, dynopenia. Sarcopenia is going to be the loss of muscle mass due to age, and dynopenia is going to be loss of muscle strength due to age. Both of those just naturally occur as we age, and so that's why it's important as an elderly person, as we get older, that we do not just stop being active, and especially more importantly, that we do strength train, that we put some resistance, some load on our bones, because also osteoporosis and osteopenia, that's going to be the degrading of our bone mineral density, right? And so we want to make sure that we help build up their bones, because when it comes to risk of injury, when you fall, a lot of times when people get older, they fall down, they can't catch themselves. That's when they're risk at fracturing a bone, a hip. Now they're out for so much longer. Grip strength is lost. There's so many different things that we could talk about, but I'm going to try and keep it quick here today. And so just in general, things to know also when we get older, our recovery rate from recovering some exercise, from anything when it comes to surgery or things like that, it's going to take longer. It's going to be harder, more challenging. And so these are things to note when you are programming, designing it for a client. And so today I'm going to go over an advanced program for a client. If you guys haven't already, make sure to watch out our beginner and intermediate program. This is going to be a full body program for a 65-year-old female client. Make sure you watch those after you watch this video, just to get a little bit more insight on how we would start and slowly progress an individual, a client, within these considerations. So I'm going to show you guys how we can do that just right now. So for this individual 65-year-old female client, focus is full body. What I'm going to have her start off with is going to be jumps into a safety bar squat. We're going to go into some push-ups, and then we're going to go into a side plank. The next circuit that we're going to have is a trap bar deadlift into Aussies, and then we're going to go into dead hangs. The last circuit we're going to have reverse lunges into TRX rows into an arm circuit. And this arm circuit can be pretty much anything, but I would just have her maybe go into some bicep curls, into some lat raises, into some reverse flies, and why I would do these certain exercises. When we look at the first circuit there, jumps into safety bar squat. If you watched our other videos, we prepped this individual already how to squat and squat with load. And so I want to now get heavier into those squats. And I also want to see if we can incorporate PAP training. So PAP training, what is that? Post-activation potentiation. So by doing an explosive movement like that jump into the squat, it could have that momentarily potential for her to lift heavier during that squat. It's also good to focus when it comes to the elderly population on how to properly land, landing mechanics, jumping in general, as well as recruiting those type 2 muscle fibers, those fast twitch muscle fibers. Reactiveness is a big thing as we age that we lose as well too. So I want to incorporate that during our program. From there, after the safety bar squats, we have push-ups. Push-ups are one that I think that everyone should be doing. It's a body weight movement. We could do it wherever, right? But it is a good one because let's say this individual does fall on the ground. Now she can push herself up from the ground. And so I want to make sure that we're strong in this position. Side plank, it's good to incorporate some abs also. Instead of just a normal side plank, it's going to be a little bit more challenging on the side. Now we're focusing on stability there. We look at the second circuit, a trap bar deadlift. I like preferring over just a normal deadlift just because the setup I think is a lot smoother and cleaner. The next one we have is Aussies, also known as inverted rows. This is going to be a nice one because it's going to build up to the ability to do a chin up, do a pull up. This is one that I want her to be able to do and knock out a couple reps easily while maintaining form there. After that, we have dead hangs. And so dead hangs, as you guys will know and will find out, are important because we're working on that grip strength, that grip factor, which, as you guys maybe have heard in our other videos, as we get older, our grip strength goes down. And so if I'm going to help her live a longer and happier lifestyle, longevity, I'm going to increase that for her. I'm going to work on her grip strength. Now, with that to note, and we've talked about this in our classes and other videos, but let's say she did have arthritis in her hands. Maybe that's something that I may not want to incorporate there. Now, the last one we have is reverse lunges. I love doing unilateral exercises for anybody, not just elderly clients, but this is great because now we're going to look at balancing, but also loading up during those movements. And so a reverse lunge is really nice because it's easier to perform than necessarily a forward lunge, because for forward lunge, you have a lot of your momentum going forward. It's hard to control. Reverse lunge, you're stuck into that position while you go back with that. And so it's nicer to load up and maintain that form throughout the entire process. After that, we have the TRX rows, just another way of doing an inverted row or an Aussie, but also the balancing factor. I like to do a lot more pulling movements than pushing movements. As you see, we have 2 pulls versus 1 push, just to even it out a little bit more, because a lot of times in our everyday life, everyday activities, we're doing a lot of pushing movements, always going forward. So I want to make sure we're trying to open up and bring it back. And lastly, we have the arm circuit. Like I said, you could do pretty much whatever you want to do here based off of that individual, that client. I could ask her what she likes, what she kind of wants to focus on here. Just hypothetically, I threw in some biceps as well as lat raises and reverse flies. Like I mentioned earlier, I feel like a lot of times you're doing a lot of pushing movements. So that's why I want to do the reverse flies to open her up, biceps to help her with her Aussies, and then just some lat raises, of course, as well to work on the shoulder overall. So this is just a program that I would do for an advanced female client. Once again, that is 65 years old. As we say all the time, every program, every workout that we give for a client is going to be dependent on that client. So if an injury pops up, if they're not sleeping well, they're not eating well, that's also a big thing when it comes to as we get older, as we age. We want to make sure that we're increasing our protein intake, because MPS, muscle protein synthesis, the sensitivity decreases as we age. So we want to increase that protein intake. And so this program that I have right now might change when my client comes into me. I might have to tweak it. And the great thing is that I have the ability to tweak things, to work out things on the fly, because of the critical thinking that the Show Up Fitness internship has provided me and all of our other interns out there. Another thing that I didn't mention earlier, but I did say about the recovery process when it comes to eccentrics. Eccentrics create a lot of damage, DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. So we usually look at 3 to 5 reps, but that might even change depending on the individual as well. So they're just things to take note when you are training an elderly client, but also just clients in general. So if you're a personal trainer out there or an aspiring one and you have questions about programming, make sure you sign up for our level 1 SUF-CPT tier. Right now we have a 14-day free trial, and that's where you guys are going to get access to our platform, to our app of live daily recorded content going over anatomy, how to program, exercise variations, assessment sales, everything that you guys would need to know to make this a long-lasting and successful career. And if you guys haven't already, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any new content that we have to offer. And like I mentioned earlier, make sure you watch the other videos, the beginner and intermediate program for this female client, full body client. And if you have any questions, also feel free to message me on Instagram at ACT7VE, as well as at Show Up Fitness. Make sure to follow Travis as well, TravFlex, and of course the TikTok as well. And remember, if you want to become a great, successful personal trainer, all you got to do is show up.